When your body temperature starts to drop, it's not a slow, gentle descent. It's a rapid, violent assault on your mind and your muscle. It turns your skin blue, your speech slurred, and your judgment dangerously wrong. This is the story of the silent killer that tricks you into thinking you're safe, even as it shuts down your brain and your heart. This is the deadly truth about hypothermia, and the simple, terrifying mistake that almost killed a man 50 miles from civilization. His name was Ethan Cross, and he had faced down avalanches, rattlesnakes, and blizzards. But none of those came close to the mind-bending betrayal of his own body. Ethan was a solo winter hiker in the Montana Rockies. He was experienced, prepared, and meticulous. He followed the survival mantra: cover, overexertion, layers, dry, COLD. But on day 3, a freak snow squall hit, turning the temperature from a manageable -5 degrees Celsius to a brutal -20 degrees Celsius in less than an hour. He was navigating a ridge when a pocket of ice gave way beneath him. He didn't fall far, maybe 15 feet, but he landed directly in an ice-fed creek, soaking his outer layers and worse, his internal wool base layer. He scrambled out instantly, heart pounding from the cold shock. His body's immediate, frantic response was to survive. The first stage had begun: mild hypothermia. Every muscle in his body began to lock up and seize with violent, uncontrollable shivering. Shivering is the body's last-ditch effort to generate heat, a massive, desperate muscle contraction trying to burn fuel. He knew the clock was ticking. He had to get dry. He found a slight overhang, shielded from the worst of the driving wind. He was cold, but he was working to stay warm. He was in the shiver phase of the survival mnemonic: cold, shiver, stumble, bumble, sleep, die. But the cold was already creeping into his mind. His hands, losing fine motor control, struggled to open the waterproof sack holding his dry clothes. The zippers became a monumental, impossible task. He started to make small, subtle mistakes. He fumbled his multi-tool, dropping it into the snow. He didn't pick it up immediately. "It's fine," a voice in his head rationalized, "I'll get it later." This was the first, most dangerous sign: impaired judgment. He was pale, his speech when he muttered to himself was slightly slurred. He felt a wave of unreasonable apathy. The effort to change clothes seemed too much. He just wanted to sit down, close his eyes, and let the warmth of the shaking body take over. This apathy is lethal. It's the second level of the body's betrayal. The brain, starved of warmth, simply stops caring. Ethan managed to force himself to remove his wet boots and socks. But then the real danger set in. After 30 minutes, the violent shivering abruptly stopped. The sudden quiet was deceptive. A wave of profound, unnatural warmth washed over him. "I'm okay," he thought. "I made it. I'm actually too hot." His core body temperature had dropped below 32 degrees Celsius. He was now in the stage of moderate hypothermia. The mechanism that caused him to stop shivering is the same one that leads to the most bizarre and deadly behavior in cold deaths: paradoxical undressing. Hypothermia had damaged the blood vessels near his skin. Before the core shuts down completely, these vessels often suddenly widen, a catastrophic failure that floods the cold extremities with warm core blood. This gives the illusion of intense, suffocating heat. Ethan began fumbling with his dry clothes pack, not to put on his new layers, but to strip off his coat. He was now clumsy, stumbling, and profoundly confused, entering the stumble and bumble phases. His fine motor skills were gone. He ripped his thermal shirt open, gasping for the cold air he mistakenly thought would cool him down. He was sitting in the snow in sub-zero temperatures in only his pants, trying to remove his last insulating layer. The ultimate betrayal. His heart rate had begun to slow, his pulse was weak, and his breathing was shallow. He wasn't aware of the severity of his condition. He then saw the small, dark entrance of his makeshift shelter. To his confused, oxygen-starved mind, it looked like the comforting doorway to his home. He forced himself inside, curled into a tight ball, and drifted into a heavy, unresponsive sleep. He had reached the edge of the final stage. 7 hours later, a search and rescue team found Ethan. They found his coat haphazardly thrown yards away from his shelter. Inside he was motionless, unresponsive, and frozen to the touch. His core temperature had plummeted to an unbelievable 27 degrees Celsius, 80.6 degrees Fahrenheit. On the hypothermia severity scale, this is severe hypothermia, where the body is in the final death throes. His pulse was so weak, so slow, it was almost imperceptible. His breathing was slow and irregular, or possibly absent. A younger, less experienced rescuer wanted to move him quickly, to rub his hands, to get him next to the emergency space heater. The team leader, a veteran named Marcus, stopped him instantly. Be gentle, Marcus commanded. You move him too fast, you kill him. This is the second, most critical truth about severe hypothermia. Vigorous or jarring movements may trigger cardiac arrest. The heart is so cold and unstable that any sudden jolt can cause it to stop beating altogether, resulting in a fatal arrhythmia. They followed the critical rescue protocol. 1. Gentle movement. They carefully cut away the remaining wet clothing to avoid excessive movement. 2. Insulation. They wrapped him in a hypothermia wrap in layers of dry blankets. 3. Insulate from ground. They placed an insulating mat under him, separating him from the cold, conductive ground. 4. Core heat only. They did not place him directly next to a heater or use hot water. Instead, they applied wrapped heat packs only to the core. His neck, his armpits, and his groin, where major arteries run close to the surface, allowing heat to transfer directly to the core. 5. The mantra. Marcus continuously monitored Ethan, remembering the life-saving medical mantra, "You have to be warm to be dead." Until a person is warmed, they are never truly dead, because the cold has preserved their tissues and brain, slowing the body's need for oxygen. They evacuated him gently, prioritizing the core warming over speed. Ethan survived. The cold didn't kill him. The medical knowledge saved him. Ethan's story isn't just a tale of being frozen but alive. It's a textbook of the critical mistakes and life-saving facts you must know to survive the cold. Remember the 3 deadly truths. The deception of shivering. Shivering is good. If it stops, you are in danger. Do not feel safe. When the shivering stops, your core temperature has dropped to a critical level. The warmth is a lie. The sudden feeling of warmth and the urge to undress is paradoxical undressing. It is your brain misfiring as it nears collapse. Fight this urge with every fiber of your being. The gentle hand is key. Never violently rub or jostle a person with moderate or severe hypothermia. This can force cold blood from the extremities back to the heart, causing the core temperature to drop further, the afterdrop effect, and triggering a fatal cardiac arrest. Keep them still, horizontal, and warm the core slowly. The silent killer is real. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Do not let the cold take another life. Hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories that arm you with the knowledge to survive the impossible. Let us know in the comments, what is your essential piece of cold weather survival gear?